faggot, queer, sissy, homo, fairy, fag, gay. These are just some of the hateful words used to bully kids perceived to be homosexual. Unfortunately, these words, combined with constant acts of discrimination and alienation, drive kids to the tragic decision of committing suicide. In 2009, Carl Joseph Walker Hoover, an 11-year-old African-American boy in Springfield, Massachusetts, hanged himself with an electrical cord. His mother said his classmates at his middle school had bullied him and called him gay on a daily basis.
In Houston, Texas, the parents of Asher Brown said their gay son turned a gun on himself and committed suicide after being a victim of bullying. He was just 13 years old.
I think it's tragic, it's horrible, and I think that we need a complete change of just vision of what it is to be, fair to students growing up and to young people.
Every day, teens face harassment, threats, and violence, and they hear anti-gay slurs about 26 times a day or once every 14 minutes.
And it is hurtful to people who are gay, and if they don't even know yet, maybe they were thinking and they're questioning, and now it's looking derogatory, and they think, oh, is there something wrong with me? And from your simple comment, that somebody can go home and be so upset.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. It's sad that people are actually dying because of who they are.
Gay and lesbian teens are at a high suicide risk because their distress is a direct result of the hatred and prejudice that surround them. When I was growing up, I knew that I was different. I felt different. The other kids at school weren't, didn't like that. So I knew that they would be making fun of me, and that was hard. After recent suicides due to gay bullying, 22% of gay students had skipped school because they felt unsafe.
There are over 100,000 kids every day that don't even show up to school in America. They can't learn if they're living in an environment where the climate isn't safe.
His name is Clint McCants. He's the school board vice president for Midland School District in eastern Arkansas. Seriously, he wrote, they want me to wear purple because 5 queers committed suicide. The only way I'm wearing it for them is if they all commit suicide. I can't believe the people of this world have gotten this stupid. He went on to say, and what you see is his spelling, not ours, we're honoring the fact that they sinned and killed themselves because of their sin. Really, people? Is that something you really believe that because that's something also a lot of people have commented on, that if one of your kids felt they were gay, that you would run them off. Is that true?
I don't know what I would do yet. The time will tell.
In America, there is an epidemic of parents so driven by their own homophobia that they will quite literally throw their children away.
I think the cause is related to the fear of the, what's different. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't understand homosexuality and they're afraid of it, so they bully because of their own insecurities.
Imagine a little child thinking that they are not, that something's wrong with them. That's a heavy burden for a child to carry.
As soon as you lose out on a right because of the fact that you are gay, lesbian, transgender, whatever, you automatically feel like a second-class citizen. And it makes other people see you as that as well. And that's what causes the problems.
Most often a bully has been bullied. Maybe he's been kicked around. Maybe the bully who's an anti-gay bullier is gay himself and doesn't want anybody to know. So the more he looks anti-gay, the less anybody would suspect.
I think a good point that should be taught to kids, yes, at an early age, but just at any stage in life, is to tell them that we are all humans and that there really aren't all these, there's differences innately in humans, and that should be embraced.
Now at least finally some churches are realizing that being gay is not a choice. It's just that you are born that way, so they feel more apt to accepting the homosexual community.
We need to stop discrimination in every aspect of society, because if you're walking down the street and you look in someone's eyes, if you look gay and they yell something at you, it's like, why should I have to deal with that? Why should I have to deal with that harassment?
I think that religion is used a lot as the basis of the intolerance, but at the same time, if you think about it, if that religion wasn't there would probably be something else that was used as the basis of intolerance, because it's just something that's different and it's a societal issue more so. I mean, there are probably very secular people out there that are just as intolerant.
In my school, we have buttons that say "That's so gay" on it, and there's the little circle with the line through it that means, the no smoking symbol. So that's sort of a taboo line. No one's permitted to say that. In my classroom, if someone says "That's so gay," I will immediately call them out on it. Sometimes when I'm disciplining a student, I sort of keep it private to keep their integrity, but I find a lot of times I need the teachable moment, and whomever is listening, I allow them to hear it. I don't say this is just for this student and me to discuss, because I want everybody to know when this happened that it's unacceptable.
To really change society, I think you have to establish to kids that everyone thinks a certain way, and it's sometimes harder to change the minds of adults, and it's easier to change the minds of kids. So I actually think school is one of the good places to teach tolerance.
In the schools, I think it's most effective to just start teaching gay history. I think that school administrations need to address the issue of anti-gay bullying and keep it in the forefront of people's minds, and let their students know that if it happens, there will be consequences.
Especially in classrooms, you should really start early with kids, teach them tolerance at a young age, have, actual lessons or services in the school to teach them tolerance. And I also think educating parents is really important, because it's a generational thing. I mean, we all hope and I think that as generations grow, tolerance, will go with it. But at the same time, I mean, the generation of the parents is less tolerant, and they're teaching their students or their kids. So a parent education has to be there as well, I think.
Knowing that you have equal rights, that you are protected, will prevent people from harassing you, from attacking you, and that has finally come through.
To teach tolerance is a combination of everything. Home, school, parents, friends, relatives, everywhere you go.
What do I think needs to be done to stop anti-gay bullying is education. We need, as America, as parents, as community leaders, as teachers, staff members, anywhere you go, there's going to be adults and children, and children will model off of adult behavior.
I believe it should start in the church, and I believe it should start in Sunday school, if it's brought up.
And you said also schools.
Well, it spills over into the school. I mean, if it's taught in churches, I mean, even children that aren't religious or have parents that aren't religious may teach their children to be intolerant. But by and large, I think most of the intolerance comes from a religious point of view. And if we eliminate that point, it sort of helps other kids in school to sort of follow that. And so
let's remove the hate from the pulpits.
There you go.
It's a great place to start.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So much.
Have a good
You're
day.
welcome.
Appreciate your help.
Yeah.
What I think needs to change to prevent bullying is that everyone needs to realize that being gay is okay. It's normal. Get over it. You know, you need, and eventually we will get to that point. I know it's going to take a little bit more time.
One day when I was in the 9th grade, just starting Crowley High School, I was cornered after school by some older kids who roughed me up. They said that I was a faggot and that I should die and go to hell where I belonged. That erupted the fear that I had kept pushed down, that what I was beginning to feel on the inside must somehow be showing on the outside. Ashamed, humiliated, and confused, I went home. There must be something very wrong with me, I thought. Something I could never let my family or anyone else know. To those who are feeling very alone tonight, please know that I understand how you feel, but things will get easier. Please stick around to make those happy memories for yourself. It may not seem like it tonight, but they will. And the attitudes of society will change. Please live long enough to be there to see it. And to the adults, the bullying and the harassment has to stop. We cannot look aside as life after life is tragically lost. And Mom and Dad, I'm alive today because you love me.
Tolerance should be taught throughout their lives. They learn from their parents, they learn when they're with their peers, so that's at school or on the playground or wherever it is that they're going to be interacting with people. They're going to need to be directed to what's appropriate and what's a good way to feel about people.
Intolerance is based on fear. When you're afraid, you're intolerant. Where is the trouble in the world? Where is the fear? It's from people who are uninformed, uneducated, and fearful. Tolerance comes from understanding yourself, the world around you, and the people who live in it. That's tolerance.
Stop bullying, stop discrimination, stop suicides. Accept each other, respect each other, love each other. Got tolerance?